We have Melisa and Matt Migliaccio of mCubed Staffing here today, and we're going to be talking all things working out, staffing, and working with your spouse. Justin's joining me today, super pumped about that.
Yes.
Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so let's talk mCubed Staffing. How long have you guys been in business?
Since 2014.
Yeah, almost 11 years.
Okay, amazing. Where were you before mCubed came to life?
So we both worked for a staffing company in the past. I was there for 6 years and Matt was there for 9 years.
Okay. Is this where you guys met?
Yes.
We did.
Oh, cool. So you met on the job, fell in love.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happens?
Well, we were expecting our first child,
Yeah.
and I was on maternity leave, and I got a crazy phone call. My position was changing, and I just couldn't put myself together to go back to a company that was going to treat me like that. I called Matt, which he was up north, and was like crying. I don't know, it was huge change.
Okay.
And
Emotional.
yeah.
Hormones.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. So he drove home, we talked about it, and we both were like, now's the time, let's just do it. Let's quit the corporate job and start our own. We knew
Amazing.
what we liked, what we didn't like, and just took the leap.
Now, as you guys met at this job, you're in the same industry, you're doing the same work. Did you start to dream like that before the moment came?
It started because the quality started going down. So when I started with the previous company, there were 3 people, and we grew it. You know, it was a rocket ship, and then they started, you know, kind of caring a little bit less about quality, and just, you know, is more about volume, and obviously, you know, treating people maybe not the best way. So once that started happening, I could see the light and kind of wanting to do our own thing. I've always had that bug, but it just took the courage to get out, especially with the bills piling up. We just we bought a new house, we were having a baby, and, you know, just all of these things that were coming at once. So once that happened, you know, it kind of forced our hand, and it was a blessing.
Best decision we ever made, though.
Yeah.
So how quickly from the, oh my gosh, everything's changing, Matt, and we've got this baby coming, now what? How quickly from that moment to mCubed?
I think we're a little bit too proud and competitive to sit back and be like, oh crap, now what? I said, screw it, we're doing this.
Rip the Band-Aid
Yeah,
off.
we're doing this. So, and you
We
know,
got
we
the
had,
call, July 3rd,
yeah,
Okay.
that my position was changing, and then by the end of August, we already had our LLC set up.
everything's set up,
Amazing.
ready to
Yeah.
go. So we, you know, we're all in, and I think that's how you have to do it. You can't have one foot in, because there's too many things that you have to put forward, and especially with a busy life and everything that's involved with running a business, starting a business, you just have to be all in, and that's what we did.
Totally.
Well, Matt, you said you're competitive. We got you beat. We did it in 3 weeks. You know,
We can
from
relate
that
to
point of
this,
recognition
totally.
to full launch,
Yep.
independent, 3
That's
weeks.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
During a shutdown global pandemic, by the way, where I couldn't
That
even go
was-
to the bank and open up an account.
Yeah, it was a tricky little moment for us.
Yeah.
It was unprepared. We were not planning on it, but it was a similar situation. We were delivered a choice of like, it's going to be this way, period.
Right.
And we were like, are
No,
other
it's not.
options? What are the other? The other option is we're out of here.
Yeah.
And that was it. We were going to be slammed with a non-compete, and we were like, hey, that's not cool.
Right.
Like not like that. Not that
Create
type of
the
non-compete.
alternative,
Yeah.
Basically, because
Yeah.
living with what that was not an option.
Yeah.
So staffing, let me ask a question. I have a general gist of what you do, but explain to us a little bit more in depth. What does the company do?
We're true headhunters. So we partner with clients to deliver talent faster, higher quality, and a little bit more fluid. So instead of just submitting your resume from a candidate's perspective to a black hole online somewhere where you don't know if you're being looked at or not, we actually have conversations with the hiring manager, with the company who's hiring, to understand, you know, the top things they're looking for. Melissa's really good at building that relationship of understanding, here are the top needs that we want, here are the must-haves along with some of the efficiencies are pipelining and making sure that we have people ready to go before the position comes out. And then we're quick to deliver. So we have, good conversations ahead of time. That way, when a position opens up, we already have that person ready to go.
Perfect. So both from a corporate entity search, I have a need, a missing person, to the person that's looking for their next step in their career.
Correct.
Either one can find themselves at home.
A lot of times the candidates are working, which is, we try to recruit more passive candidates, just because a candidate that's on the job boards, they're getting multiple interviews, multiple offers. It's not a fun game to play. Plus the client doesn't want to deal with that. So a lot of times the candidates are working and they're looking for that next opportunity, whether it's, better location, better pay, room for advancement. So we have to find out what that nugget is, why they're looking to leave, and then hopefully one of our candidates can provide that.
Okay.
And a lot of times when Melissa talks to a company who's hiring, it's the urgency because someone resigned, or it's a position that is critical to their production line or whatever it is. They need this person yesterday. So that's part of working with us is, the speed and the accuracy that you're getting, rather than posting a position, waiting 3 weeks, 100 resumes come in, 75, 80% aren't a fit. So you're kind of weeding through the people who aren't a fit, but we have, 3 to 5 candidates ready to go at that time.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm like, are you reading my diary? That is exactly how it goes. That's amazing. Okay, so talk to me about your clientele. Are they nationwide? Is this hyper-local? Is there a niche of a certain demographic that you're working with, or status level within careers?
So majority of our clients are Metro Detroit, but we do have clients that have multiple locations. So maybe their headquarters is here in Detroit, but they have an office, like we work with clients in Texas, Oklahoma, in the Chicago. So we're throughout the U.S. As far as industry, anything that's like professional or technical. So IT, engineering, finance, accounting, marketing, sales, HR, those type of roles. We have kind of touched in a few automation spaces, but our bread and butter is definitely like the professional and technical staffing.
Okay,
cool.
Now, when you guys first got started, I know there was some uniqueness about, not only was it quick and furious, you had to work, we exited because of a non-compete, you had to work extra hard because you were under a non-compete. Talk to us about that struggle and what that entailed, just not only as a couple going through it together, having a baby, doing this all out of nowhere. What was that like? Take us back to that time.
We said if we can make it through that year, we can make it through anything.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
We had our son banging on our glass doors, and we had to put up black felt because so he couldn't see us. Yeah. We had in-laws coming over to help and watch the baby. It was chaos, but it was so fun at that time, building something that you believed in, and building something that is yours, and that you can deliver value. And hearing that the response from our clients, the wow when we do deliver, it's amazing. So it was very chaotic. It was something to where it was a struggle because she had great relationships built. And the thing that we heard often was, well, we wanted to work with you, not work with the company. So that's how she built great relationships, is that 1 year we couldn't touch anyone. So she was, starting from scratch, pure cold calling. We had to be very careful with who we were calling, when we were calling them. So she did a great job of truly hunting and finding that's what makes her great is she can.
Look at him talking me up so well.
She can manage the account, but also she's a great hunter and shows value in what we can bring and deliver.
That's amazing.
I love the hunting aspect though.
Yeah.
That's like what gets my adrenaline going.
Right. Well, I think anybody who's an entrepreneur in the sales realm of building, you have to have that hunt in you. You've got to be a hunter because it's that hunger that keeps you going when it's so tough. So take us through some moments where, and let's talk that first year, because I can only imagine with all of the recipe you had going on there, you had to have hit moments where you're like, did we do the right thing?
Yeah.
What happened then?
Well, the first candidate we put to work was a contractor, and we are self-funded. Yeah. So we had to pay, and the client was 60 days, right? 60 days?
60 days
payment terms.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had to pay a $50 an hour person, front the money for the first 60 days, and then clients are never paying on time, let's be honest.
Yeah, okay.
So,
with no income coming in.
yes, we had nothing. So, but we looked at it, we're like, all right, what do we have saved? How long can we go? Like, we knew, like, all right, within 6 months, we're going to have some business.
Coming back.
Yes.
And the funny thing is banks, when you're a startup, they don't want to lend you.
No.
So even though you could prove,
Yes.
and then when you finally are established, then they come calling. I'm like, now you come, yeah, exactly. So maybe that can change too. But so yeah, we had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. But I mean, even that first year, like you said, during the pandemic, a lot of things that we've never been through,
Right.
that you grow as people and you grow as business owners.
Yeah.
But then after you start getting like a couple of the direct hires and you're like, all right, well, it's just the two of us. We have like no overhead. Like,
Right.
this is great. And, just finding a new client and then finding a candidate and making that match, like, that's like the funnest part of our position. So it's like
The cool part was-
rewarding and both aspects. Like, the candidate's happy, the client's happy, and we just did this on our own,
Yes.
So
One of our first hires was someone that she went to high school with or worked with at Lifetime Fitness, to where she knew him personally, and he was in IT, and we just made the connection, and they ended up hiring him within a week. So it was pretty cool. That's how relationships come into play and come through.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine being in that moment where you're like, we can do this for this exact
Right,
many months.
exactly.
And then I'm not sure. Let's hope. Yes. Okay, so that was 11 years ago, just the two of you, no overhead, babies banging on the window. And where are we today? How many employees, how many clients, like what's the growth pattern? So we can really share that with some people watching going, okay,
Sure.
I'm gonna grab that borrowed belief and take my
Well,
shot.
we're in our fourth office space now, so we're moving right now.
just like down the street from you guys.
Yeah, and
Just a couple weeks,
our
yeah.
growth has changed quite a bit. So 2023, actually 2019, we spiked, and then the pandemic hit. And then 2022, 2023, we spiked again. And then during the election year, it was pretty slow last year. So we're in a little transition phase right now, but our momentum's definitely picking up again.
This year, we've noticed
Yeah.
the trajectory's back up, which
Yeah.
is good.
And we follow the same patterns. I mean, I think when you're a family-owned and operated company and you're continuing to move through that first decade, which, let's be honest, that is the truth of business, you're just continuing to be like, we're making it. Oh my God, we're not making it.
All right, we got to cut back on some things. All right, we're really good. Okay.
Fire everybody. It's just you and me again.
Sometimes it's minute by minute. Right?
Yeah.
It's rapid changes. It's like being on a roller
It is
coaster,
one of those
truly.
moments. So I can appreciate that. Okay, so fourth office, you're going to be just down the street from us here in Troy, Michigan. All right, let's talk about working together with your spouse. So I know from working with my handsome spouse here that we've had to undergo so much growth in communication and rapport building to have certain work conversations versus life conversations, and how to really allow ourselves to keep that separate so that it's not this weird dimension of all we do is talk about work.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need to relate on other things.
Yeah.
And there were many years where we missed the mark on that. And then all of a sudden you're like, where did our relationship go? Is there romance? Is this marriage? So how have you guys handled that? Like working together, building a business together, going through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and still being married and happily together?
It's a challenge. It is, but it's something to where I wouldn't have it any other way. She might not say the same thing, but it's funny because you learn to know their signals. I could tell when she's having a rough day, and I'm like, all right, I'll take it from here. Like do the dishes, whatever it is, just the home life. So it kind of helps alleviate some of that pressure. Whether it's some family health issues, things like that everyone goes through. It's real life. So it's just understanding those signals, but also the communication. I don't think can ever be enough. And as a guy, sometimes I struggle with that. So what do you mean? So it's trying to get better every single day, but also we have a lot of the same interests. We have a lot of the same things that drive us. So I think that's what kind of keeps us together. Looking out for our family and our kids, number one, understanding that, our health and fitness really matters, because during off season, when we kind of take that time off. I don't feel like we're running the same.
Yeah.
So I feel like that keeps us in motion. It keeps everything going well.
I love that.
Yeah, he definitely picks up when he knows I need it, like when we're going through a lot of stuff. Plus we know like each other's like strengths at home. Like I deal with a lot with my daughter, and then he coaches our son, excuse me, his hockey, he's a hockey player. So,
cool,
and took the footsteps. I think he enjoys it just as much as our son. He might be more into it at this point. But either way, like, so we know what we have to do to get it done.
Yeah. I think that's, for us, we call that veto power. Like where do we lie in our roles as husband, wife, as business owners together? We play different roles in the company like you guys do, play different roles at home. And that took us, took us a long time to learn.
We're both driven people when it comes to implementation and ideas around how things should be done. And we were in the capacity of we're both trying to do the same thing. You know, where if I'm hearing you correctly, your guys' roles within the organization don't necessarily butt heads all that often or cross over. We were essentially, here's the objective. I had a way of doing it, she had a way of doing it, and that became, conflicting. It was frictionless. And that's where we found the issues to be. And when she talks about veto powers, we had to literally sit down and say, here's all the aspects of the business in which we do. Aspect A, you're the best at that.
Right.
I'm going to be subordinate to you in that, and go categorically down the line to determine who can essentially overrule or veto or give the guidance on that particular thing. And that fixed all of it.
I think that's helped us out a ton is having different roles.
Yeah.
You know, her strong suits are not mine from a business standpoint of the account management, the relationship building with clients. I don't enjoy that as much. So I'm on the client
Not
side.
getting back. He's like, what do you mean your client's not getting back? I'm like, I'm trying.
I want it now.
I have to be like, you gotta massage the relationship. Like, I can't just jump right in. I'm gonna scare him away. So,
Right.
whereas he's like, no, I need answers.
So I like working with the candidates who are looking for the jobs a lot more. So I think that's definitely helped.
Yeah, no doubt it has. We had to hire an actual coach because I think we were going to kill each other.
I mean, we were literally going to do that or get divorced, have more time.
Yeah, it was one or the other. We're like, do we keep doing it together and hate each other? Or, we got a coach, and we hired a coach specifically who had worked with their spouse and had grown something successful and sustained it. And we were like, okay, you coach us exactly how you guys figured it out. We want to leapfrog over what you learned. And that veto power was one. The next one is, how do you not take it home? How do you manage still connecting, still communicating about the kids, about life, about dreaming outside of just career dreaming? Is that something you guys are challenged by? Is there something that you do in particular to sustain that?
We make it a point to get away, and because we're constantly on the go with our kids and with the business. It's nonstop. We know one speed, and it's fast. It's go. Yeah. So we get away. You know, we have date nights. You know, we take vacations that are just us two, and I feel like we really bond from that standpoint of communicating outside of just work. Yes, we talk about our goals. All right, what's next, or any changes that we need to make, any tweaks. But we talk a lot about other things of, hey, I think we might want to get back into competing, or I think we're kind of missing this, or I feel like that helps a lot.
Yeah, and the conversations that we have like that on vacation, it seems different when you do it away from home. As weird as that sounds, like you're not under any other stress. You're freely talking about the next thing, the next goal. Whereas at home, like, you're distracted because the doorbell rings and the kids are running, and then there's hockey pucks.
Yeah, the dog's eating
like,
something.
Yeah,
It's like, exactly, always.
Yes.
So I feel like that raises the stress a little bit. It kind of adds to it, the chaos. It's constant chaos, but it's something to where when we have a quiet weekend, we just had one. I'm like,
we're bored.
What are we doing?
It's funny, you're literally talking our own language. I mean, we say in our household, busy's our baseline.
That's exactly the same.
And so that's just what it is. There's no point in complaining about it,
Right.
acknowledging anything different. That's the way it is. And same thing we do with the couples retreats. We try to do it at least quarterly, get away for 4 or 5 days. And we are different people on those in terms of the way we interact as husband and wife. So completely understand. You have to step outside to hit that reset.
And then when you come back, you're like refreshed.
It's like,
energized.
have you ever seen the movie
This
This Is the movie This Is 40? Have you ever seen that? Oh my gosh, you gotta watch it. The scene where they go away for the weekend and they come back and they're having this completely
They're
relaxed
totally
car ride home,
reconnected.
like holding hands, truly
Yeah.
connected, and they get into their driveway and the kids come running out screaming like, "Mom!"
One's bleeding,
Yeah,
one's
it's like-
throwing up. They're like,
It's just like back to life. All right, here we go. And we had that moment, you know.
and it's over.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we're similar. Date nights, getting away, and I think that's important, and then knowing your roles, right, within the business. And it's totally possible. I don't know about you guys, but we get that question all the time. How do you work with your spouse?
all the time.
How is that
You
possible?
live with them, you work with them, you train with them at the
Yes.
gym. Now you're going to do shows with them.
Aren't you
Like,
tired of them?
yeah.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, this is kind of crazy. I don't know if this is the same for you, but like in the 11 years we've had our business, we've driven together to work maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Right.
Like, so it's not like yes, we
Everything's
work
this-
together, but like we
yes.
still
She has her own
are
meetings,
our
they
own
have their own
independency.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same. And we have a running joke here. There will inevitably be somebody in the office that will come up to me and say, "Where's Justin?" And I'll be like, "I have no idea.
Right.
I have no clue where he is." That's a great question.
Or we literally will drive in separate cars to work, literally me following her, her following me.
Yeah.
I'm like, slow down. There's a cop on the right or whatever. It's-
Slow speed racer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so you talked about some of your hobbies being an important aspect of keeping the relationship romantic and connected outside of just work. What are some of those hobbies?
Training for one. It's you know, I feel like when we're working out, we're keeping an eye on our fitness. Our kids feed off that. Our kids see that. It's a better, healthier lifestyle for us. But we're downtown a lot, so sports. We have tickets to the Lions and the Red Wings. You know, we're a big sports family. She's in the past year or two has gotten into hockey, which is great because before
Okay.
Playing or watching?
watch.
Cheering,
Yeah.
Cheering.
screaming.
Yeah.
Being into the game. He's
Yeah.
like, thank
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the whole playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Have the gallon jug.
Exactly. She's got the cowbell, yeah. So that's sports are a big part of our life. You know, every once in a while we'll get out to the golf course if we have time. It's just hard to find 6 hours to spare, but
Right?
anything outdoors, anything outdoor related. We go up north quite a bit to mid-Michigan and enjoy the lake there. So it's, cottage has been in our family for a long time. So get up there and, you know, be with family and get away a little bit. For a while, there was no internet service, anything like that, so it was great. It was great, and then they
It was
put
like a
it
love-hate
in.
relationship,
Right.
you know? It's like,
It was.
like we would walk, we knew like on the dirt roads up north, if we stood like on this one corner and raised our phone
At this
up,
one tree,
this
you
one
could
tree,
get sig-
we could get a signal.
Yeah.
Yes, just to make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
but besides that, it's just being active as much as possible. Our kids love fishing. Our daughter's highly into cheer and other sports. She played flag football for the first time this year.
So did ours.
Oh, really?
Loved
That
it.
was so fun.
Loved it.
I didn't realize how much I would love it either.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It was
My
great.
daughter was like, I wish there was more than one game a week.
Yes.
I was like, I know.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
That was cool. Oh, that's so fun. You're being modest when you say training. Let's talk about what that actually is. You guys compete bodybuilding together.
We did. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've done what, 3 or 4 shows together.
Yep.
We both done a local show. We both came in first place.
Wow.
She got first place in her division. I got first place in mine. Then we went to a national show.
Which
and
is awakening.
yeah, it was.
The national?
Yeah, oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It's like you're a little fish. In a,
You're like, what
Yeah.
happened?
300
Yeah.
people backstage, and you're looking around. You're like,
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
So-
Wow,
Yeah.
Was that
that's
in
amazing.
Columbus or?
No, that was Anaheim. So we did 2 in Anaheim.
The local ones was, I did the Western Michigan and you did Central.
Yeah,
So
Central States.
Okay.
So the Anaheim, California show was great. Just to be out there, you know, have a goal. You're out there for 4 or 5 days, and to know that you put in all this hard work over a long period of time, even though the prep is, you know, 16 to 18 weeks of just eating, you know, chicken, turkey, fish, and that's it. It's a longer term for the building portion. You know, during the off season, you're constantly building. It's not the most glamorous because you're gaining a lot of weight for the building part, but to see what your body can do and body can transform when you have a goal, I feel like that's what we got most out of it was you put your mind to it and then you accomplish something. And even though the result wasn't what we wanted, you know, on stage for the national show, We didn't get first place, but at the same time, you know, we look back at those pictures and the time we had, and I'm like, oh my, was that us?
Right,
You know?
was that my body?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To
It
see
was
how
like
it
a-
morphed,
remarkable.
especially after kids.
Yes,
It's
yes.
and I feel like I had a kid because I was eating Oberweis
You're like,
ice
me
cream.
too.
Yeah,
I was also
nonstop.
pregnant, same, yeah.
There was
So-
a time hop that came up and he sent me, he's like, this was August 2 years ago.
I know,
He's like,
it is one of those
unbelievable.
moments where you're
Yeah.
like, look at
Okay,
us
well, it's
now.
time.
Let's
It's
get
time.
back at it.
It's time.
Do you have double wardrobes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have triple. Yes.
In between?
Yeah.
You're like, this is when we're in competition mode, building mode, and then just regular people mode. That's amazing. Okay, cool. So you're in training right now to do another competition, right?
Yeah, we just decided 2 weeks ago
Wow.
that we're going to do another one.
Okay. And is this just like, what crosses your mind? Because I really want to showcase the mentality that I have found when I speak to other successful people, entrepreneurs in particular. There's just this line of mentality that hits. And if it's not bodybuilding, it's extreme sports. If it's not extreme sports, it's like mastering something else to keep the mind sharp, to create the possibility of when you put it all in, look what can happen.
It's usually all in on something.
Yeah.
You have to be, especially in bodybuilding. Like if you're not eating the right foods, if you're not training, if you're having alcohol, like you're not going to have the results. So
Right.
you have to be all in. There's no shortcuts to it. It's a long process. You have to put your seatbelt on and go. And I think that's what 2 weeks ago he's been telling me for like a couple months. And I was like, I don't know. I just decided this year I'm coaching for my daughter's cheer team.
Okay.
He coaches for our son's hockey team. We have the business. I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts. And 2 weeks ago, I committed to him. I'm like, all right, we'll do it.
We got this.
So the 4:30 a.m. wake up calls
Yeah.
have begun. So
I feel like it's having a constant goal. You know, that's what drives me, is just whether it's the business, whether it's something just to compete with and have a goal to accomplish. I feel like that's when we're best. You know, so it's a cleaner lifestyle. We're not out, you know, till midnight having bottles of wine. You know, we're up at 4:30. I feel like I'm more energetic in the morning.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's having that end goal to what drives me and what, you know, has me focused in all areas of my life. I feel like is what separates us.
Yeah. How does that show up in work? How does that show up as how you lead your employees and how you work for your clients? How do you think that aspect of continuing the goal setting and the disciplines outside of just career?
yeah, I mean, it's the commitment level. It's just like opening a new account. You're not going to make a call the first day, and you're not going to get added to that client. So it's repetitive. It's committed to the end goal. So, you know, all of our account manager sales people have a target list. It's the same as the competition show. Like, you're not going to see success right away. You got to keep going. You got to keep working towards it. But then when you get that new client, or when you get that hit on that stage, and you're like, wow, all that hard work just paid off. So it's similar. It's a long-term investment that you have to put in, but at the end, the goal is always the same. You know,
Like when we're training, like day by day, you don't see the changes. Like we always at work, we call it planting seeds. You're making calls, you're building relationships, you're constantly planting seeds. Every day that we're going to exercise or train, you're planting those seeds. So you're not going to see an immediate change, but like you look back over a certain, 12-week, 16-week period, and you're like, oh man, okay, I could see when I was making those changes at those points.
Yes.
So you have to constantly be consistent, put in the work, and I feel like those core things in anything in life that you do in order to be successful is consistency, hard work, and I hope that our kids are seeing that, because I constantly preach that with my son or my daughter of, if you want to be great at something, you constantly got to put in the work. Your work ethic and your grit is going to be something that puts you over, because there's going to be other talented people. They don't want to do the extra stuff outside of the sport that they're playing, the extra stuff that it takes. So if they're constantly seeing us put in that work, hopefully they grow from that and learn from that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think something that I definitely have mad respect for is when I see other leaders truly leading by example. It doesn't take much to be good at something, or as an entrepreneur and you're good at something, you monetize it, you can make money quickly. But to sustain it through that lifestyle piece of showcasing, like, no, this is who I am. I lead by example in my life as well. And especially when you're leading other people, like for me, I look at that and I'm like, yes, bravo, because there's nothing worse than, it's all over social media, right? Like the highlight reel of success. Right. And then when you peel back the layer, you're like, geez, your marriage is a sham,
Right.
your family life is awful, like none of it lines up. So the success someone's trying to emulate from you doesn't really exist. So I love hearing that.
I actually love and adore the struggle that people go through more than just seeing the end highlight. That's why I think, you know, doing a podcast that you guys are doing, or, you know, showcasing what you guys have built or what we've built is better to see it long term rather than just the end goal of, you know, a $5 million, $10 million company, whatever it is, because I want to see the path that everyone went through, because it's real.
Exactly.
You know, it wasn't always pretty. We've been through a ton of, you know, craziness with the economy, with the market, whatever it was. So it's seeing that realness from people that I feel people relate to.
Yeah, that's the part that's needed to give the borrowed belief, because otherwise you look at somebody's success, at the end of the day, it's like the iceberg analogy.
Right.
You're only seeing the top part of it. You didn't see the 90% that they went through to get there. And it can make it feel like, well, they're special. They have a talent I don't have. They have
an $8 million
a better
loan.
opportunity than I did. Yeah, or whatever it may be. So that can't be me. But when you share the reality of, no, I'm a human too. These are my struggles. I have dark moments where I have to talk myself off a ledge and all these things to keep going. It allows that person to be like, oh, maybe I can do that as well.
If it's sports, you know, you see someone get drafted and you're thinking, wow, they're extra or they special or whatever it is. You know, you don't see the extra work that they put in outside of the game. You know, they're them getting scored on, you know, 8 goals in one game if they're a goalie, you know. It's just things that they have to work through in order to be mentally strong and to get to where they want to be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So let's talk about times as entrepreneurs and doing it with your spouse in particular. I know we have our moments where if we're looking to scale something or we're surging and we're pushing because we know we got to get over this hump. There can be a strain on the relationship because you both go into this laser focus mode. How do you guys handle that when you're in those striving moments where you're surging and you've got a little, not too much left over to give to one another? How do you support each other through that?
That's tough, because I'll see her losing sleep or, you know, up on her laptop at, you know, 5:30 a.m., whatever it is. And so, you know, it makes me accountable, you know, but also it's like, all right, we got this, you know, kind of pep talks a little bit. You know, I joke around a lot. I like to keep things light. So that's my way of like taking the pressure off a little bit of just, you know, making a joke, you know, trying to make people laugh, dancing around, whatever it is. So I feel like that's probably maybe the lighter side of it, because in all realities, we have to enjoy it too. You know, it's life, but we have to enjoy what we're doing, or else there's no point in doing it. Because if you're too stressed and if you're not enjoying, you know, each other, or your kids can sense the stress, you know, I don't want that. So I feel like we have to build a good support system, and our team has been amazing. Our team has been a really good support system to where we can offload some things to where, you know, it can maybe, you know, even though we take ownership on a lot of the major tasks and whatever it is, but I feel like, you know, you have to keep things light. You have to, you know, little pep talks here and there, and just to know there's things bigger. You know, there's things
bigger than just this.
You have to enjoy your
He's
life
a lot better at that than I am.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm always
she wears it on her sleeve.
Yeah, I do. And I lose sleep all the time over it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he likes to bring me back. I'm more of the realist, though. We always have this joke, like, always, I'm the realist, and yeah.
I'm the dreamer.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
we could do this. We could take this
We're
on. Yeah,
fine.
it's great.
Let's go skip down the hallway.
Yeah. I'm like, we just
like,
lost a big client.
Right,
Like,
you're like, I'm looking at the numbers. No, but I think that's an important
It is. It is a
yin
real
in a relationship.
Because sometimes I have to draw him back in,
Yes.
like, all right, listen, like, we need to look at some numbers and come up with a better solution than just like all in. And he'll be like, all right, well, like, we're gonna hire like 5 more people, and I'm like, whoa, like.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yep.
So it's a good balance.
It's a good
between-
balance
between
for
the two of
sure.
us.
I think that's so important. It's something certainly that Justin and I are in the same boat, where we have that yin yang of like, I'm the like, gotta do it, and he's more like, yeah, we're doing it.
Well, here's the legalities behind that. Here's the, you know, all the steps that it would take to get there. So yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the black cat.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
what she refers
To
to.
my
me.
dreaming. To my dreaming. He's like, black cat moment.
And
Here's
I'm like,
where
hey,
it's
I can
illegal.
Go there with
I'm
you.
just
Here's how we navigate it, right? You know.
Yeah,
There's a
they're
lot
good.
of regulations in our industry, obviously, and there's certain
Yeah.
things. That's my category in the business.
Yeah.
I'm the managing broker, so the liability stops with me. And so I have to know the law better than anybody under this roof in
Right.
order to be able to make sure that everybody remains safe. So by default, I get to be the black cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the attorney that's sitting in the corner being like, don't say that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, yes.
the same thing.
You know, you had said something, Matt, earlier that you're like, hey, communication, I've learned, is like the most important thing, especially because we're at work together, we're at home together, we've got the kids, and we've just got to constantly communicate. Something that we have learned over years of doing this is when we're in this loop, it's like this constant loop of work, and then it's kids. We will stop and be like, let's talk about retiring. What's that look like? Because it puts us in the state of future pacing towards something that's exciting. Not the how we're getting there, but like when we get there, what are we doing? What's it look like? And that's a fun little game we play.
I think that's a very important conversation because you hear all those stories about after it's all done, after the kids are gone, after you retire, then it's just quiet. Yeah. So I think that conversation's important. I don't know what I would do without the chaos.
Jokes of what I'm going to do when we retire.
Well, she has. I don't know if she's ever retiring.
Right,
Because
right.
she's going to be a sommelier.
Oh, okay.
She's going to be a professional poker player,
we're
even
gonna
though she doesn't
go
like poker.
resurrect a
She's
new
gonna
career
I'm like,
or two or
are you
four.
ever going to slow down?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Just
that.
stuff that's like not as
Different and
stressful.
fun,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know. I
Not
hear
great
you.
habits though. Poker and wine, whatever.
Like in my future
Exactly.
life.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love that. Yeah, we talk a lot about, and it changes all the time.
And we talk about her owning a yoga studio. We talk about what are some of the
that's a
other
little bit
things?
healthier than mine.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, traveling. We talk a lot about because when you own especially our hyper local businesses, and they're smaller, you can't travel as often.
Right.
At least we don't feel comfortable being gone as often on type
Yeah,
of like European
we're not gonna go to Europe
excursions.
for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we do more of like the short 3
Yeah.
or 4 nights away.
And we have young kids,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
also
We're all
another
about
reason.
routine with our vacations. We have a condo on the beach in Florida. That's where we go. Like, We'll
Yeah.
try and plan another trip, and then
try
halfway
so
through,
hard.
we literally rip it up. We're like, how with that?
Like it's taking
we're
way
going
too
to the
much
condo.
energy.
Like,
We're out. Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
goal is to get to Florida as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Florida.
Are you
what
guys
what
on
area? Golf.
Gulf side.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gulf side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his parents have a timeshare in Treasure Island.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
on the Gulf side as
Yeah.
well. So we go. I love like the Hollywood area
Panama,
too.
or Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah. It's,
We've gone there
That
quite a few times
boardwalk's
with the
amazing.
kids. They love it there.
Yeah.
But honestly, Florida in general, I
So
would take it.
fantastic.
I would go with
Us
yeah.
too. I'd sell flip flops on the beach. That's the
actually,
backup
we go
plan.
every summer, and it's like one of our favorite times.
I grew,
to be
and
there.
it's because I grew up going there in the summer, so I'm hyper conditioned. And when I met him, I'm like, welcome to my.
I will say this: we get to cheat a little bit because we are right on the ocean, so it's
The
a
breeze.
different.
Yeah.
If we were 5 miles inland,
It would be
we'd be
totally
like, no, we're
different.
gonna die.
humidity's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you had mentioned that some things happened in your corporate work in the recruiting space, and that's what moved you guys towards a rapid, like, well, let's rip the Band-Aid off. We're going to do this thing now. What would you say was the biggest shift you made from what you knew, what you were experiencing, to the way you created your company today?
There were things that we noticed that we liked and what we didn't like. So we took that and we moved it into a fun environment. We call it a boutique style, to where you're going to get that personal touch. You're going to get the fluidity without all the red tape. You're going to get speed and accuracy, but also this passion that we have, and it's like a personal touch almost. So we hear all the horror stories all the times from the bigger companies. A lot of the red tape. They don't really know what they're doing from a recruiting standpoint, not getting them the quality of candidates. So it's they're more focused on volume, on numbers, rather than giving that personal touch, which we really focus on.
Yeah.
We took like the fast-paced environment, which we love. Well, obviously, we have that one speed. So we took that, the fun environment, the reward that you feel when you're, either gaining a client or helping a candidate. So we took that, the pieces that we liked, and made sure that we instilled them in our company, we don't ever want to be like that super corporate-y company where you have to worry about like a super dress code or, you know, like you can't say how you feel. Like we have a very open door policy. Like if you have an idea, come to us.
Yeah.
Like we like that. We're not perfect. We learn all the time. So we wanted that mentality, I think, throughout.
Yeah.
And
It's never something to where we know if we get the effort from our people and our employees, we're good. We'll be able to point them in the right direction to set them up for success, but the effort is something that's non-negotiable for us. So if we see people, you know, really trying, really caring about what they're doing, then we're going to be supportive all the way through. But it's something to where, you know, when we walked into your office, I felt that little club vibe with the music, and we love that. We have music going all the time.
House music going.
Exactly.
You're like, we're in the
oh,
right
you're right
spot.
in her. Yeah, it's in her wheelhouse.
going to the gym.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
She didn't know gym or glow sticks, whatever they were. But yeah, that's something we bring, you know, fun, the energy, that passion every single day.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm hearing essentially who you were in the corporate world, hardworking, successful individuals, and then you weren't treated with respect or support, right? I mean, a top producer at your company, and while you were away, they're like, bye, we took your clients, you don't get to have them anymore. I think you bringing that aspect to your company today and saying, hey, if you just showcase what we know is possible, just effort and care, we will give you the same back.
Exactly.
And I think that's, I would think all companies start that way. And I hope as you scale and grow that that's something that you kind of find that hidden gem of how you keep that. It's something we obsess over of, you know, how do you keep that sense of belonging and continue to cherish the effort even though maybe the top producer, you know, isn't top producing this month and maybe the new guy's outperforming or underperforming, but as long as that effort's there, that willingness, we'll give you all we got.
Yeah, it's a challenge to keep your values long term, you know, from a standpoint of, you know, not losing it month to month, you know, just keeping that energy high, you know, because it's a long
It takes
it's
a lot of
game.
energy.
It does.
You just said it, keeping that
does.
energy high. And I think people, they don't understand how much it takes to hold on to culture and continue to cultivate it and care. And I think that's why as companies scale, they just kind of let go of it because it takes so much work.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, even if the person isn't the highest producer, but they're the most positive in the office and they're the cheerleader and they bring something, bring the intangibles, you know, that's
We had someone
key
that
to
was very, very good, but bad attitude.
Yeah.
And I was
just
like,
sucked all the air out of the room.
It's like,
the worst.
So
Yeah.
We
gotta cut
found
it out.
in growing a company very similar to yours, there is this evolution that occurs where you have your culture. When you're small, you know, you maybe have 5 to 10 people top to bottom and everybody's tight-knit. It feels like a family. It feels amazing. And yet it's very volatile from a financial standpoint.
Right.
It's very risky,
Right.
and they don't understand that, nor should they. It's all laying on your shoulders.
exactly.
So you do what you need to do as an entrepreneur. You continue to grow, and it creates this culture and subculture component. And it took us a long time to learn that. We had to get coached through it by somebody who we trust very deeply. And he explained, you're going to have a subculture no matter what, and you just need to make sure your subculture is essentially your grand reset to what you missed on the culture. And the culture is going to be there. And eventually the culture might fade away and it's only going to be the subculture,
Right.
and you get to make it whatever you want. And so we're at the point with our company now where the subculture is now the culture. And it's a cool hurdle to get over, and it ends all those weird conversations where somebody feels like, well, I've been here the longest, I get certain privileges and all of that.
Entitlements. Yes, oh yes.
You know, and it's freeing once you get past that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's that little hurdle that you have to jump over.
It's a little painful.
Yeah,
It is
it
painful
is.
because
Yeah.
it's very personal relationships. They can either get on board. Like we have some agents that are here that have been with us from the very beginning. But we have some that were like, we're going to be together forever, that have left because of that,
Because of the change.
because of the
no,
change.
we've had that too.
Yeah.
And I think that if there's anything as the size of companies we have, like that part for me has always been the hardest part. It took years, I'm talking 10 years.
Yeah, we were like, not us.
To
We're
learn.
just not
Yeah,
gonna be
no
here.
way.
We're
We
here.
are happy
Yeah.
family over here. Yeah.
Our people
And then
love
it was
us.
like daggers to the heart, you know?
I used to take it personally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we
Instantly.
really did
Well,
for
because
a
you're
long
personally
time.
pouring your heart and soul into them for
Yeah.
years. It is personal.
they don't take it as serious, I don't know, as
and they
we
never
do,
will.
you know, and it's our reputation always on the line.
Right. Yeah.
we say this
I think
all
it's a
the
good
time.
lesson, though.
If they could, they would be you.
Yeah.
If they had the capacity in that environment to be able to truly understand,
comprehend.
they would be in your position.
Go big picture, right? It's one thing that I think as leaders of the company, you're always trying to help people see the bigger picture. And at some point, you have to just say, this size picture is good enough for them. They don't need to see it the way we see it. They don't need to know what we know, because if they did and wanted, then they'd be us, right? And that might happen too. That's a beautiful success story.
I want people that want to take over my job.
Yes.
You know, like I want that mentality.
Yes, absolutely. Melisa, Matt, if people have questions around staffing and they want to get at you from a recruiting standpoint, or just want to pick your brain on being spouses in business together, where can they find you?
Our website, of course, is mcubestaffing.com. We are on social media, M&M brand on Instagram, and then, of course, we're both on LinkedIn, first and last name, Melisa Migliaccio.
Matt Migliaccio.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing how you thrive well. This is our ThriveWell podcast, and it really showcases that thriving comes with a willingness around the wellness aspect, that 360 approach towards life and business. And what we've found in talking to so many people just like you guys is that there is this just unwavering, relentless willingness towards success. So we appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Thanks for sharing.
Appreciate it.